Chainsaw Confidential, Goldilocks, Death and Porridge, and Severin Films release Cushing Curiosities, all on this Monday edition of Spill the Guts.
I like it spooky.
Hello and welcome. My name is Clint, and I am one half of the I Like It Spooky Horror podcast, which, in addition to monthly Crackle and Redbox streaming app rundowns and news every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, brings you a featured news, reviews, interviews, and entertainment show every other week, like the new feature episode that released yesterday where we discuss the Hammer House of Horror television series. I am still swirling from an exciting weekend at Horror Hound in Indianapolis, but it's time to get back into the grind of another week, as today is Monday, August 21st, and this just in. This first one to get our week started comes to us from BloodyDisgusting.com. Fresh off the heels of a successful new Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game release, Dark Ink, the publisher that released Kane Hodder and Tom Savini's biographies, along with the upcoming In Search of Darkness book, has announced that they are releasing the late Gunnar Hansen's book, Chainsaw Confidential, How We Made the World's Most Notorious Horror Movie. Released in 2013, Gunnar's beloved book has been out of print for half a decade, making it almost impossible to get. Dark Ink owner Michael Aloisi says, quote, "Having talked to Gunnar many times about his book and writing before his passing, I am utterly honored to be getting Chainsaw back out there for fans to honor his legacy and the film that changed the world. We could not be happier having his book alongside his friends and colleagues' titles. We plan to keep it available for fans for generations to come." With a new cover and foreword by author Ray Garton, Chainsaw Confidential is now available in paperback, hardcover, and ebook versions from all major retailers and Dark Ink's site, aminkpublishing.com. The original audiobook with Gunnar Hansen narrating will be out later this year. The original 1974 film, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, seized the imaginations of audience and critics alike. A controversial cult sensation recognized by Total Films as the greatest horror movie ever made, it's been shown at Cannes, briefly banned in England, and included in the permanent collection of New York's MoMA. This fascinating literary memoir of the making of the film comes from the utterly unique perspective of Gunnar Hansen, the actor who played the chainsaw-wielding Leatherface. A critically acclaimed poet and author, Hansen tells the real story of the film, debunking myths, giving behind-the-scenes details, and offering insights on the film's reception and our enduring fascination with the horror genre today. Bloody Disgusting's Megan Navarro just celebrated Chainsaw Confidential in the recent installment of the weekly email newsletter The Remind, which you can subscribe to at view.flowdesk.com, writing, quote, "I can't recommend enough that you pick up a copy of Gunnar Hansen's Chainsaw Confidential. Set mishaps, adventures with the potfield on the iconic house's property, near injuries, and more elevate this memoir into required reading for any Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan. All in all, a breezy 240-page read penned by Leatherface himself." Next up, iHorror.com reports that the Goldilocks and the Three Bears Death and Porridge trailer is going to ruin your childhood. The Goldilocks and the Three Bears Death and Porridge trailer is here, and thanks to the awesome folks over at Arrow in the Head, we are checking out the entirety of all of the craziness packed into a fairy tale teaser trailer that we can take. Recently, fairy tales meeting horror has been all the rage. For example, Winnie and the Pooh Blood and Honey was one of the latest to get a bloody run. Of course, we all know the way this fairy tale goes. While the bears are away, a very spoiled Goldilocks makes her way through their home, ruining meals, beds, and everything else you could think of, And of course, once the bears get home, Goldilocks is in big trouble. All we know for sure is that it seems there is going to be a lot of gore, as the trailer looks to take some big liberties and mix things up quite a bit. I will post a link to this iHorror.com article on the I Like It Spooky Horror Podcast Facebook page that includes the teaser trailer for you to see for yourself. Be sure to let us know what you think in the comments on that post. And we have reached that part of the episode where we pause for station identification to hear from our podcast network, the PFPN.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
Last story of the day comes to us from Severin Films with a new release announcement about the 6-disc Blu-ray box set, Cushing Curiosities. Now, it's always a good time to talk about a Peter Cushing release of any type, but since the I Like It Spooky Horror Podcast just released a new feature episode yesterday covering Hammer House of Horror with Peter Cushing, this time is a little extra special. Speaking of extra special, this box set from Severin Films includes The Cone of Silence and Suspect from 1960, The Man Who Finally Died from 1962, Sherlock Holmes from 1968, Bloodsuckers from 1971, and Tender Dracula from 1974, as well as an ungodly amount of extras including shorts, commentaries, interviews, and archival awesomeness. Did I mention the all-new 200-page book, Peter Cushing, A Portrait in 6 Sketches by award-winning horror film historian Jonathan Rigby? You can pre-order this 6-disc collection that includes 5 feature films, 6 BBC teleplays, the 200-page book, and 16-plus hours of special features over at severinfilms.com today at 30% off for a grand total of $95. This box set is currently a pre-order item with an official wide street release date of October 17th of this year. Severin hopes to begin early shipping all web store orders of Cushing Curiosities sometime around mid-September. And that is a wrap on your Monday news. Don't forget to connect with the I Like It Spooky Horror Podcast through all mainstream social media platforms. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Listen in on the new feature episode released yesterday, and meet me back here this coming Wednesday for more news on another edition of Spill the Guts.
Hey, what's wrong with you, man? Show some fucking respect for the dead, will ya?